Nadia from VRLA Tech, and today we're bringing you an in-depth look at one of our most popular builds, the Apollo. Throughout its iterations, the Apollo has been positioned at the sweet spot in price-to-performance ratio. This mid-range machine is a champion of 1440p gaming, streaming, and content creation. First, we'll go over the parts with some explanation of why we chose them, and then we'll show you how it performs in-game. The Apollo features a Ryzen 5 5600X, the latest and greatest CPU line from AMD. This 6-core, 12-thread CPU has a base clock of 3.75 GHz and a max boost of 4.6. The 5000 series is AMD's best ever single-core performance, meaning it's just as good for gaming as it is for multi-threaded tasks like rendering. We've paired the 5600X with an RTX 3060, getting you next-gen parts for last-gen's price. The RTX 3060 gets you buttery smooth 1440p gaming and second-generation ray tracing, which is made even better with NVIDIA's DLSS. The combination of the 5600X and the 3060 just makes sense. They both occupy the same space as far as price-to-performance ratio. The Apollo has 16 gigs of RAM standard because, again, if a system doesn't have at least 16, you're being ripped off. It's also upgradable to 32 on our website if you do more memory-dependent tasks like content creation. That's all slotted into a B450, which makes sense for this price point. We stuck with the B450 over a B550 because that would just increase the cost of the build for features most of our customers won't ever use. This is all powered by a 500-watt power supply, which is more than enough to run the system thanks to Ryzen's power efficiency. However, if you're interested in overclocking once your warranty is up, I'd recommend upgrading to a higher wattage power supply just to have the extra headroom. Now that we've taken a look under the hood, let's see how the Apollo performs in-game. Okay, we are in Fortnite right now on epic settings. We've maxed out the graphic settings and we are running in 1440p. So you can see that we have a solid high 60s, low 70s for frame rates. Now games like this, typically you don't want to max out the graphic settings. You usually play esports titles at lower graphic settings just so you can maximize your frame rate. So just for an example, let's switch it on down to medium. Shoots up. Shoots way up. Okay, and this is like completely playable, and you get pretty high frame rate for this game. And of course, we're playing in 1440p right now, so if you really wanted that FPS count to go even higher, you could switch down to 1080. Your graphic experience would be worse, but you would have better FPS. So, you know, it's a trade-off. Let's just pop it down to 1080 and we'll go back up to epic and see what happens there. Okay, so graphics here still look great. You know, the resolution honestly to me is not super noticeable, but maybe I don't have magic special eyes. But to me, like, the reflections look great, you know, the smoke trails in the sky look really good here, and we're still getting above 100 FPS on max graphic settings. So you get the flexibility to mess around with how you want to play when you have a system like this. But let's see how it all works in another title. Okay, we are playing The Division 2. Right now we've got everything maxed out on graphic settings. We are playing in 1440p. And we are getting a solid console level, I think around 50-60 FPS. I could turn on VSync and lock that down. Actually, I would if this was like my computer in a game I was playing, because this feels to me like a kind of game that you want those high quality visuals in because it looks so good. So let's pop in VSync and see what that does to our game. So now with VSync on, the frame rate is locked, and we're getting a stable 59 instead of it fluctuating to like 66 and then 57, and it looks way smoother right now. So in 1440 max settings, you can get basically a PS5 experience. If I was gonna drop this down to 1080 resolution, I could easily push way more frames. It's not really the point of games like this. This isn't like an esports title. It's not the kind of game where, you know, you have to keep the competitive edge on people, really. This is definitely more like a graphics-heavy visual interest kind of game. We are in Warzone. We're in 1440p on max graphics settings, and right now we are getting 79, 80 FPS. How do you take it? That was F in this game. Man, I can't play all these games back to back because I get the controls mixed up. Okay, so on the ground in Call of Duty, we're at over 85 FPS. Alright, I'm in the gulag. So, I'm dead. I'm in the gulag. Let's go. I won! I think they were AFK. But I won. Okay. So, in general, this is an esports title too. I know that it's kind of like a graphically demanding esports title, but it's an esports title nonetheless. So, in general, you would not play this game at these settings. This is like max use case, and even completely maxed out, we're running 80, 90 FPS. If you're playing this game at lower detail, like lower graphic settings, you're definitely gonna get higher frame rates than this, but for the sake of the video, we wanted to kind of max everything out to just show you what it looks like really high up. So we're in Apex Legends right now. Again, on 1440p, we're on max graphics settings here, and we're getting a very high and very stable 143 FPS right now. So just like every other game, if you were to drop the graphics settings here, wow, look at those textures. Look at those shadows. Wow. Just like every other esports title, if you were to drop the graphics settings, you could easily push higher frame rates, but honestly, 143 at max graphics settings is kind of insane. So, you can see the Apollo basically does anything that you would want it to do. It runs games at maximum graphic settings, pretty great frame rates. And then of course you could always drop those down. This machine you can stream on, you can create content on. I mean, it's kind of the total package. It's definitely one of the best bang for your bucks that we have here at VRLA Tech. The price to performance ratio for this computer is just insane. Now that you've seen how it runs, you probably understand why the Apollo is so popular. It's the best choice for the majority of gamers and creators. If you want to learn more about the Apollo or any of our other gaming PCs, visit our website at www.vrlatech.com. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.